Welcome to Only One You Need Radio. We're not the only one you need. You are. We just show you how to get out of your own way. With your host, speaker, author, business coach, and consultant, David Dubé.
Hey, it's Dave Dubé, and I'm super excited to have you here in this episode with me, my friend. We are going to be talking about appreciation, how to find it, what to do with you have it, and what it can do for you. And it all begins this morning, actually. As I sat down at my computer desk, I turned on my computer and I looked down and I see a name on my phone. So I answer it. And on the other end of the phone, I hear, "It's me." Of course, I already know who it is. It's my sister. And she's calling to confirm Friday. We have plans on Friday, and so she wants to make sure that Friday is all set. And it's funny, you'd think, well, someone would probably confirm like the day before or something like that, but we're talking about my sister here. Now, if you don't know my family and you don't know my situation, I should probably catch you up to speed on that. First off, my sister, I'm the youngest of three. And my sister's the oldest, then it's my brother, and then myself. And as the youngest, I've always known my sister to be, obviously herself, but to be blind and autistic. Now, to me, Sarah doesn't have disabilities. Sarah is just Sarah. That's who she is. And she's very expressive for being autistic. She's on the higher end as far as autism, like diagnoses being, and she's also blind, but she's legally blind, so she can make her way around. She can't cook food and do certain things for herself, therefore she needs assistance and help. And for her entire life, up until very recently, my sister lived with our mother. Now, our mom was a pretty awesome mom, and she took care of Sarah very well and made sure that obviously Sarah was to all her appointments and fed and had things to do. But that changed after 2010. Now, if you heard my story from 2 episodes ago, you would know that my mom got diagnosed with cancer during that time and then had massive medical bills, which prevented her from spending more money on things that she would have liked to have done, not only for herself, but also with our sister, with my sister, her daughter. And that caused a lot of strife in the relationship. Now, it wasn't apparent to me, and it wasn't like top of mind awareness that my mom was having financial issues, therefore she couldn't provide the things for my sister. It just wasn't there. But a lot of our conversations, my sister would talk about wanting to explore life and live on her own or with people like herself, which our mom was vehemently against. And the reason is because of all the horror stories we've heard over the years of people who are like my sister, her daughter, who've been taken advantage of, whether it's been verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and the like. It's nothing that anyone looks forward to. So my mom said, no, you're not going to be in a home because I don't want that to happen to you. Now, my sister obviously had a different viewpoint on that. Why? Because, well, she works with people like herself, and she's in a community most of the day when she's not with our mother, when she goes off to the company that brings them together and then buses them to or vans them to their job sites. So my sister's around people like herself all the time, and she hears stories herself and has experiences herself and wants to continue those experiences. Well, if we rewind to 2016. Now, early in 2016, my mom was getting phone calls from her oncologist, but my mother wouldn't return those phone calls. And when I confronted her about it, she said, I just want to live my life. So in September, when my mom was officially diagnosed with cancer for the 3rd time, I was pretty certain it was going to be the last time. And I remember how heavy of an experience it was. So my sister moved in with me because our mother could not take care of her. My mom was in and out of the hospital, and then we were doing chemotherapy, and my mom couldn't keep food down, and it was a horrible thing to be a part of. I remember receiving one evening a phone call from my sister, just crying her eyes out from my mom's place, saying, you need to come here, you need to help me, I don't know what to do, mom's a mess. And to get that phone call from your sister, it's a heart-wrenching phone call to receive. And obviously I went there and I was like, all right, that's it, Sarah, you're moving in. And I took her that night, and we took care of our mother. her sister showed up, my brother showed up, and we made sure our mom was taken care of. And the next day was my mom's chemo appointment. And I remember taking her to that, and we had discussed the night before. And my sister was kind of rushed job to move in, and eventually we went back, got her stuff. And the room that I'm recording this in, which is my studio room, became her bedroom. And so this was where she from that point forward reside. And my sister was here. It was October of 2016, early October 2016. And that way my sister could focus on what was important to her, which was work, and also not worrying about our mother, because my sister has no way to take care of our mom. It shouldn't make sense. My mom is my sister's caregiver. My sister shouldn't be my mom's. And as things progressed, I was taking my sister to work in the morning because they weren't picking her up at my house at the moment. And so one day I couldn't take my mom to an appointment where she was supposed to get a CAT scan, or a full body scan, done. And so my brother ended up taking her, and that was the last day my mom lived at home. The hospital said, that's it. Or the doctor that was doing the scan said, no, that's it. You need to go to the hospital. This is pretty much it for you. And that was my mom's first realization that she wasn't going to make it. And that was a very hard day for all of us, because after work, I picked up my sister and I joined my brother at the hospital. And I remember just watching our mom melt in the bed as she, cried to us saying, I'm sorry, and that this is it. And Sarah handled it very well. And when, when we left, I live maybe a mile away, not even from the hospital. And it was the last stoplights before we're waiting at before getting to my place. And my brother's next to me, my sister's in the back seat, and I turn to my brother and look at him, kind of the somber moment, and I then turned to my sister. I said, Sarah, this is probably going to be one of the last times you see Mom alive. and as the emotions are high in the car at the moment, my sister just says, easy spaghetti. Now that confused me, and it confused my brother, because I look over at my brother and my brother goes. So I said, Sarah, what do you mean easy spaghetti? Now, Mike and I, my brother, we understand easy spaghetti is a meal our mother would make from time to time, and she just called it easy spaghetti. And so, confused by my sister's response, I said, Sarah, what do you mean? And Sarah just says, well, I'll never have to eat that shit again. And we lost it. We were laughing so hard. And my sister brought a different presence to that car and to the atmosphere in that car and lightened the mood. This is my sister we're talking about. Like, she's a crazy, amazing individual. Anyway, as things progress here, there's an annual meeting that we have for my sister, where all the people who have kind of their hands in my sister's life, whether it's at work or personal care and things like that, show up at this meeting. And we have it once a year, and usually it would have been sometime in 2016, but because of our mother's health, we had to move it out until I wasn't having to take care of our mom so frequently. And so finally, when our mother was in the hospital, we finally moved it, and it was January 24th, 2017, which ended up being 1 week and 1 day after our mother's passing. Now, which, if you heard episode 70, you hear me talk about how tough that experience was. But moving on from that, before getting into that, I told my sister, I said, Sarah, we're going into this meeting, and this meeting's about you. This meeting is for you, and it's your decision what you want to do. And so I want you to lead this meeting. It's not about anyone anymore. It's just about you. And we sat down in this meeting, and my sister spread her wings, and she told everyone there, I think there was like 10 people in the room, 10 people in the room. And Sarah said, I want more than anything to live with people like me. And everyone said, okay, awesome, great. And they started to work on finding her a place. Now, the people in my sister's community know of the good homes and the good management companies over the bad ones, and obviously the not so good homes, or the ones where they've heard about abuse and all that other stuff. And so we entrusted her family, my father, my brother, and I entrusted that we're going to find Sarah the right group. And we are so blessed because the group that they found, they've known Sarah for years. My mom allowed my sister to go to this staycation kind of place where it was 1 week a month for quite a few years. And that management company actually managed a bunch of different homes. So my mom already had trust with them, and we did too. And they had an opening at one of their homes, so they took Sarah in. And it was amazing because before that, I feel like my sister had the mentality of a 12, 13-year-old person. And she would act out when things wouldn't go her way or when people wouldn't listen to her. And it was fairly frequent at home. It was less frequent at work and with the job stuff. So at home, it happened a lot more. And the reason was, once again, looking back, was my mom's restrictions for not having the finances to provide my sister for the things that she wanted and or felt she needed. So this home takes her in. And if we fast forward to early February, last time I saw my sister was Christmas. My sister and I would hang out. When she lived with our mom, she would at least be over once a month at my place, and we'd hang out. And if you followed me on Periscope and live streaming, I did a lot of that stuff with my sister. So a lot of people got to meet my sister and her quirks and how cool she is. And so we'd hang out. She loved to hang out. But now it's beginning of February. I call her on the phone. My sister's like, I just don't have time. I was like, what? You don't have time to hang out with your brother? She said, no, I'm busy. See, my sister started to manage her life, and she found a group that would help her do that. And so her new home, my sister's in charge of the things that she does for herself and with other people. And literally the first day at her new home, my sister, the first morning, she wakes up, sits down at the breakfast table because she moved in the evening after work. And she already knew who her roommates were because she sees them at the job place that she goes to. So she already was accustomed to who they were individually, but not as a group. And the first day there, my sister sits down at the breakfast table and she says, this is my life. This is my house, and we're going to have fun. And everyone at the table, this is from the gal who manages the house, said that everyone at the table was like, okay. And they've kind of followed suit, where from what I understand, also from the same gal who manages the home, she says that they didn't always get along and they didn't always do a lot of things together, but Sarah's brought them together. My sister has created her tribe, and there's this pride that goes along with that. And so when Sarah doesn't have time for me, I get it. I understand. She's able to live her life now and to take on new responsibilities. And so when she called me this morning on the phone to confirm our plans for this coming Friday, I was filled with so much joy. I'm so proud of her. She's gone from someone who's got the mentality of a 12, 13-year-old to someone who's got more, not only going for her than the average 18-year-old, but more responsibility. And she keeps on taking more responsibility. There's this power in her that I've never seen before. And I'm so proud of her. And I wanted to share that with you because I appreciate her so much in who she's become as an individual. She has her own phone now. She's got her own life now. She manages her life the way she wants. She's doing things all the time. She schedules out her life. When she lived with her mother, and even when she lived with me, I couldn't do the things that she wanted to do. I still had to work. And to see her in a community, people that she thrives with, and that she can create expectations and achieve those expectations herself, brings me so much joy and appreciation to be a part of her and her life, and to see her growing I'm so appreciative of my sister. And it's crazy to think all this stuff has happened in such a short period of time since her mother's passing. But the point of it is to appreciate and to love that in which is already there. Most of the time in life, we're so focused on what we want and in our future state of, well, I'm working towards this. And so we're constantly dwelling on that. Or we're worried about something that happened in the past or something that hasn't yet happened. And so our minds are racing constantly, keeping us away from the present moment, from living in the now. And having that phone call this morning, it hit me like a brick wall. Like, where would I be without this? Where would I be without my sister and without the appreciation I have of her in my life and experiencing the things that we get to experience together? I would be a totally different person without her. And to have the ability to look at my sister and appreciate and all the glory that she is, because she now can soar, she can fly. Yes, she's blind, but let me tell you, she's flying like nothing else I've ever experienced or seen before from her. And there's this joy that just overwhelms me. And when you release all the things that you are trying to focus on and think of and can find something to be joyful about, to be appreciative about, you relinquish all other things in your life that you've been holding on to. And there's this freedom that comes in this moment because you can only be full of joy in a moment. You can be only full of appreciation in the now. You can't be that in the future or in the past. Sure, yeah, in the future I could still be proud and I could still be full of appreciation. But to experience it, you can only do that right here, right now. And there's a transformation that takes place because it happens on your face. It happens internally. You feel it. From you watching this, can you not feel the emotions that I have? Can you not experience what I'm sharing with you? See, that's the exciting part about it. Because when you have that experience, when you have that feeling inside, then when you leave your house, you'll express it to other people. Other people will see it on your face and you can pass it to them. It's like the positive plague, my friend. It's something that we should do more of so we can pass on to more people. I thank you for joining me. It's time that you be the person you're meant to be, believe in all that you're capable of, and become more than you thought imaginable. It's Dave Dubé with Only One You Need, and I look forward to catching you on the next episode. Take care.